Good morning. If you want to see how we designed and built this little three-step stool, come on in. That's what we're going to do today. Good morning. Welcome to Memphis Monday 224, the 16th video of our 5th year. Today we're going to be building a three-step stool. It'll be a shop improvement program, basically so that I can get up on that stool to get to the wood in my wood pile, get on the top shelves of my cabinets, get up in the overhead to service things. It's a lot more convenient to have a stool than try to use a ladder, because there's an actual platform to stand on. But anyway, we're not going to get any of that done unless we do what? That's right. Let's knock off that chit chat and get to work. Here's our chop saw stand we built last week, and this kind of motivated the stool in some ways, because when we had that thing up on the bench, it was so tall that I couldn't reach the top of it to work on it. Now, if I'd had a stool, I'd been in a lot better shape. Now, as you can see, my shop is getting pretty full, and so I can't just have stuff laying around. I'm going to have to be able to neatly store this thing. And this is where I'm going to store it. This area right here is about 23 inches off the deck, so I'm going to make the stool about 22 inches, so it'll slide under there when I'm not using it. This is kind of what I've been using, but the problem with this is you can see this isn't wide enough. The steps aren't wide enough. It's, if you're 15 years old, this would probably be a good deal, but when you get a little bit more grizzled, you need a better platform to stand on. Here's a little sketch of what I envision. These would be oak treads with a little handle up there, rounded over at the ends. The sides there will be 21 inches high, and then with the tread it'll make it about 22 inches high. Stretchers across here. But after you draw the first visualization there, you need to put some dimensions. You got to turn this into the real world. So here's a little dimensional drawing that shows the tread 7.5 inches wide, the 18 inches long. The depth of the thing will be about 25 inches. And then from your dimensional drawing, convert that into a cut list, which you just basically list the wood, the stock you want to cut out, and dimensions of it. I like to draw a little sketch of it. And for example, the stock for the sides is 2 sheets of 3/4 inch marine plywood, cut 25 inches wide and 21 inches tall. So to get us going, I already cut our stock out. There are the stretchers right there, 6 of them. There's our treads. Top one's the top tread, and the other 2 are the smaller treads. And there's our sides down there. Here's our sides that our treads will sit on. Treads will go just like that. That's the top tread. So you can see that's how the treads are going to go on there. So if you look down here close at our cutout, our stock, you can see these lines. Those need to be cut out. We'll do that with a jigsaw or the bandsaw. We've used this trick before on other projects. We even used it on glue-up projects. But I'm going to cut this, I got two sides of this thing, and I'm going to cut them at the same time because they're mirror images of one another. But I don't want them to slide around and move, so I'm going to stick them together with brads. Not too many or you have trouble getting the thing apart. This is something new. I normally use my battery operated jigsaw, but today, just for the fun of it, I'm going to use the corded version. What we have to do now is round over all these exposed edges on the bottom, back, and here between the steps. That's about all I'm going to do on the sides. Let's move on to the stretchers. Here's a stock for the stretchers. Kind of go between the steps, hold up the treads, and hold the whole thing together. I'm going to put it together with dowels. The only processes I'm going to do on these are round down all four edges. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my setup here the same as it was for the sides so that all the parts will have the same radius. My plan right now is to put the whole thing together with dowels. And put a little glue on them. They're pretty tight. I'll go ahead and trim these dowels off. And we can start worrying about the treads. My steps here, the sides angle back between steps. But of course, my steps have a 90-degree angle here. So I need to duplicate this angle on the steps. I don't know exactly what that angle is, but I'm just going to copy that angle like that and then duplicate it on my table saw. So what I've done here is just taken that angle we struck over there on the piece and tilted my table saw until it matches that angle. So let's go ahead and cut those treads. Now you can see that angle matches up with the angle of the side there. Now we need to put what's called a bullnose edge on the front of these treads. You can buy these treads at the big box store already made. I think they're a little thicker, and they come in standard lengths of 36 inches, so you can cut them in half if you're making a stool. Well, there's our treads mocked up in place. Now what we got to do is put a handle on that top tread. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Traditionally, these stools have a little oblong cutout for a handle right up in the top, on the top step, and we're not going to break with tradition. Now there are certainly other ways to cut this little handle out. This is the best way, using a drill press. The takeaway on this drill press when you're using these Forstner bits is make sure that everything is solidly held down and clamped down, because what can happen is this thing generates a lot of torque, and if it snags up, it can spin everything around. Here we go. So now all I do is connect the radius of these two circles with a pencil line. Then I'll cut the remainder out here with the jigsaw. Now I'll go around the my cutout using the same router setup as we've been using for everything else. Just like the stretchers, I'm installing each of the treads with a total of 8 dowels. The whole thing here will be held together with a total of 48 dowels. I think this thing might rate that famous 10,000 year guarantee. Well, almost drum roll time. Just do a little sanding and we can put some finish on this thing. Go ahead and stain this thing. I don't know. This is several colors. It says colonial maple, but really it's colonial maple plus some other things mixed together. Over time I take stain and mix it together. I don't know what the business side of this is going to look like, but the underside is really looking good. Tell you what, I'll put you on the time machine until I flip it over and start doing the treads. I got the underside done. Now I'm doing the treads. If I'd known it was going to turn out so good, I think I'd have used better wood on these sides. Well, there's our little stool for Memphis Monday 224, the 16th week of our 5th year. It's a 3-step stool. Pretty satisfied with it, and I think it'll be a pretty good shop improvement. Well, that does it for another Memphis Monday 224, 16th week in our 5th year. Today we were able to go through the entire process from deciding the need and the purpose and sketching out kind of what we wanted, then making another sketch with actual measurements, and then doing a cut list and cutting our stock, and we went through the whole process right down to finishing. So I think that's, with a small project like that, that's one of the advantages. Like and favorite and comment and questions and whatever else you got. But most important, make sure you're back here next week for another exciting Memphis Monday. Thanks for playing along.